Hey guys, in this video we will be creating a web scraper to scrape proxies from a website. So if we just go to Google, we can just type in free proxy to try to find some proxies that websites will have for us. So on the first link here, we can scroll down, we can see that it has a list of proxies. We can see that these are checked fairly often. This was checked 6 seconds ago, minute. This is just a table, just holds the IP port, the country, if it's an elite proxy, transparent, if it works on Google, etc. So basically we are going to create a web scraper to scrape all of these so that we can have a tool for this, so that we don't have to keep on going out to different websites and trying to scrape proxies. We can just run a tool to do it for us. So in order to do this, we will need 2 Python libraries, request and beautiful soup, and we can see the documentation. Not sure why that said that. We can see the documentation, but for some reason I cannot click on it. So if we go here, we can see the documentation and Python, beautiful soup, we can see the documentation for that as well. So I would recommend that you look at this documentation as well to get an idea of these libraries. So basically that's all we need. We just need to know how to use request and beautiful soup. With that and 20 lines of Python, we can create a proxy scraper. So first, let's create a file. Just name it proxy.py, and I'll use vim to edit this file. If you've never used vim before, it's just a text editor. I'm on Kali. There are other text editors like LeafPad right here. It's a little bit easier to use, but I'll be using vim. So if you type I, that will put you into insert mode, and then you can type stuff. Typing escape puts you into this non-interactive mode, and you can save your stuff by typing :w quit, which means right quit. That's basically the only 2 commands that you need to know if you are going to be using vim. So press I to go back to interactive mode. You can see right there. And first I need to first I need to actually install the Python libraries. You can do that by doing app-get install python-request, and I already have it installed, and we can install the second one in the same request, app-get install python-bs4, and that will install beautiful soup. So once you have both of those installed, now we can create our 20-line Python script. So go back in here, press I for interactive mode, and then type import request, and on the next line we want to type in from BS4 imports beautiful soup. And I'm pretty sure something there is supposed to be capitalized, and it is the S. So now basically we can specify where we are getting our proxies from. We're getting it from this domain, so you can just copy that, and we're just going to create a variable, and we'll just call it proxy domain, and we will set that equal to that proxy domain. And next, we will need to reach out to this website and pull back the HTML source. And we will be using the request library to do that. We can do python-get, which will send a GET request to this proxy domain. And we're going to save that into R, a variable called R. And if we just print that, we will see the source code of this page if I typed it correctly. And yes, so there is the source code. If you don't know what the source code is, it's basically the same thing as going here, right click, hit view page source. It's all of this stuff right here. And that will hold our proxies. So basically this is the HTML source, and we're going to be trying to scrape out this stuff right there. So now that we have the HTML source, and we got that using the request library, just sending a GET request, now we can use Beautiful Soup to actually parse that HTML. So we can do soup equals, always misspell beautiful, beautiful soup, and then we want the HTML, r.content to get the HTML source, and then we just have to tell Beautiful Soup that we are an HTML parser. Cool, so now that we have that, we can actually parse this. So to do that, I will be just grabbing everything that's inside of this table right here. So in order to do that, we can inspect elements right there, and make sure you right click like where you want to inspect at. So if I click that, it'll take me exactly to that spot. So I know that this is a th tag for a table header. This is just some HTML. So this is the table, and if we highlight over that, it will highlight the table for us so we know exactly what is in there. So what we want is the tag, which is the table tag, and then we want the ID, which is proxy list table. And with that, we can parse out that table from the HTML source code. So let's go ahead and do that. We can create a variable called table, and we can use the find method. So soup.find, and we can give it a tag. This will be table, which we got from right there because it's a table tag. If we were parsing something else, it would be another tag. And then to narrow this down a little bit, we are going to include the unique ID right there, proxy list table. So that will only grab the table that has the ID proxy list table. To do that, we can create a dictionary, proxy list table. And to make sure that this works, we can try to print this, print table.get underscore content, or text actually. Sometimes I get some of these libraries confused with each other. So python proxy.py, see if this works. And it does. So we see we have all this information that is inside that table. You see like our proxies, this is the stuff that we want to parse out right there. And from that, we then need to parse further down. So if you're familiar with HTML, you know that a table contains table rows, and then the table rows contain columns. And in HTML, a row is called the tr tag, and a column is the td tag. So basically, we can parse out all of those tags. And you'll see exactly what I mean in a second. So from here, basically what we do is we create a for loop. So for row in table dot not get text, table dot find, and then I said that TR stands for table row, and we are actually going to change this to a find all, because the find will only return one instance, and the find all will return all instances. And just to make sure that this is working, I'm going to print this. So print row. And I messed up. And it's because I did not add that at the end. Definitely bound to mess up a couple times during this. Cool. So we see that that worked. It is printing all of the table rows that are located in that table. So next, we just need to narrow this down a little bit more to get the columns that are inside of each table row. And that's pretty easy as well. Just create a variable called columns. This will hold a list of stuff. And we can do row dot find all. And remember, I said in HTML the columns are a TD tag for a table description. So now this will grab all of the columns that are inside each row. And we can go ahead and print this. I'm going to put it in a try statement because I've already ran this before, and I know that some of the columns are blank and then it ends up erroring out and stuff. So we're going to put this in a try statement. Try, accept, and put a pass there to just continue going. This is so that the script doesn't error out. So now we can print our columns, and if we see here, I can just do columns. Then I'm just going to grab the first column, whatever that is, and then dot get underscore text, and let's see if that works. Cool. So that's grabbing the first IP, all of this stuff in each column. But we also need the port as well, which means we need the second column in there as well. So in order to do that, this is just back to beginning Python stuff. It's going to go here. Then columns, we want the second column because we know that the second column is the port. Then we can print that. And here we have it. We have a Python script that can scrape proxies from a website. And if you're looking here, this is scraping a lot of proxies off that website. So we can get even more information. Basically, we're just grabbing the IP and the port right now. We can get the country, the anonymity with it, if it's HTTPS or HTTP. We can get some other information with that as well, just by adding in some more columns right here. So I'll go ahead and do that. Let's make this look nice. Put a tab, add another one, a tab. Then I'll do columns 3 for the country, get text, and I'll do columns, forget what it is, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Why can't I go up? Goodness. And 4 dot get text. So that should print everything that I want to print to make it look nice. Now I can just write and quit, run the program again. And I obviously did something bad. Which I did. Printing 4 things, but only have 4 substitution. There, that should work now. Awesome. So that looks a lot better. A little bit. It actually, let me add one more. Trying to get this spacing so it's not super ugly. No. That's a little bit better. Whatever. So basically there you have it. You can get the spacing to look better just by, haven't done this in a while. I think you just do like -40 or something. You guys are seeing live coding here. Pretty sure you could do -40 and then that'll adjust the spacing in Python, if I recall correctly. I could be wrong. Okay, cool. That's too much spacing though. Man. And there we have it. That looks a little bit better, whatever. But we see we have our script. It's pulling down the proxies. We can get the country and if it's anonymous, elite, or transparent. So that's it. You can scrape from other websites as well. You could keep adding on to this tool to get like 50 different websites, and then you would be able to scrape thousands and thousands of different proxies within a given second. So you can definitely add to this. There are also easier ways to make this. For instance, maybe I could have created a regex to just look at the source code and then just find proxies that way without actually parsing everything. So that's it. Stay tuned for the next video.